On the last episode, we finished by understanding how to create middleware. On this lesson, we are now going to start talking about how to insert data in our database. So how do we use that contact form to receive data and then save it on the database? So this lesson actually is going to start by what we are going to talk about that is called a migration file. On the next lesson, we are going to talk about how to insert data using what we called query builder of Laravel. And on the third lesson, we are going to do the same operation to insert data by using Laravel ORM that is called Eloquent. So in this case, we will define what is called an Eloquent model. So let's start now on this, as we talk on this lesson, to understand what are migration files. So migration files are basically files that you create that Laravel runs that will make changes on your database in a very simple way. So you can create new tables, change the columns on your table, and even you can create what is called seed files, where you can actually insert and load and seed data into your database tables. So to create a migration file, let's do it on the most simple way. So here you use a PHP artisan command. You just write PHP artisan make migration. Let me just put the help file so you can see here. So as you can see, it says you can define if it's the table, the name of the table to be created, or the name of the, in this case, if it's a create table or a table to migrate, a path in case the file migration file is not to be on the normal path for where they are created, but in this case we are just going to use the default attribute field. So PHP artisan make migration, and then I'm going to call it create contact us table, because it's the one that we are going to create. Give an enter, and it creates a timestamp, and that says create contact us table. So if you go here to your code base, you go to database migrations, and you see that it created this contact us. So as you can see, he placed already the name. He associates that contact us table as the name of the table contact us, but you can specify these if you want to do it on another way. For instance, in case you don't want to call contact us, all you need to do is just to say here that you have a create contact us table, for instance, but you don't want to call it table, so put dash table equals to my table, just for you to see the difference. So it's going to create another timestamp saying contact us table, but if you go here, you see it says my table now. So just for you to see the difference, so I'm just going to delete this one, and we go back to our contact us table, and here it is. So we can call it contact us, no problem at all. And by default, he already places an increments ID, and he also places what is called table timestamp. So actually columns that are created by default by Laravel to in this case, you created that and you updated that. So it's two columns for Laravel to use then on the Eloquent. But in this case, you just let it as it is. And as you can see here, there is two methods, one called up and one called down. So the method when call up is the one that runs when you call when you activate this migration, let's say. So we're going to see just in a couple of seconds. The down is when you roll back your migration. So everything that you put here to do, you do the contrary on this method down. So just for you to understand. So in our case, we will need to create not only the column ID that is self-incrementable, but also other columns. So let's go back here to our contact us form. So contact us / create, right? Create. And we have name, email, reason, and then notes, right? So we can see here on, let me just see how that reason was created. Contact us layouts form. And here on the reason, we give sales tech support, and so it's a string, right? Very well. So for now, we also need to guarantee that the database values are correct, your connection parameters. So in this case, by default, Laravel places this homestead here. I'm just going to change them to, just a database that I will create right now. So if I go here, MySQL Workbench, and then I can, on this MySQL instance, let me see, I think I already have your demo. So I have the project Laraning, which has columns, tables already here, as you can see. Let's create a new schema called demo. Okay, so I'm just going to apply. And on this demo, I'm just going to give him permissions as the Laraning one. So I'm just going to, in this case, yeah, it's already had full access to everything here. So I'm just going to create here still an ad account called demo, and password can be the same. It doesn't matter, it's just for this demo. Apply. Administrative roles, I say DBA, just to see it here, and then you have access to all the schemas. And then I also need to add one called localhosts and also DBA. Very well, so now we have this demo with password demo. So I'm just going to put here database demo, username demo, password demo, and database is created here, right? As you can see. So I'm just going to reload my environment file. So don't forget that when you do changes on your environment file, you need to restart your Apache server. In this case, the PHP artisan serve, where it creates that specific server file, the server demo, a web server to run your code base of Laravel. So in this case, I already did here on another window that I have, as you can see. And now we are just going to load this migration file. So to load this migration file, you do PHP artisan migrate and you click enter. Let's see what it says. Yes, this error is very well known because it's because of the string length to create the indexes, as you can see here. So this is because of the newer versions of MySQL. All you need to do is to go to your service provider by default here. So on the app service provider, and you just need to pass here, let me see, I don't know by heart, so this is a good example also for you to see. Where's the error? It's here. So you just copy paste this to the internet here and write Laravel, and it starts on 5.4, as you can see. So you just need to write this default screamer length 191. So I'm just going to put it here, and now when you run it again, it doesn't give an error. It says another thing, schema, of course, doesn't know, so I'm just going to add it here, the namespace. You run it again and it says table users already exists. So yeah, this is because this is a good example to show to you what happens when a migration doesn't run correctly. So as you can see, the migrations, there was one table created here by default by Laravel called migrations, and then the migration starts to run because it runs all the files that are here on the migration. So let me show to you. By default, Laravel already has these create users and password resets, and we added these contact us, right? That we are going to still work on it. So these create users already create name, email, but this was all the authentication scaffolding that Laravel creates and the password resets that he needs. In this case, the migrations, let me just show to you here. I think this is really good. So select star from migrations, just for you to see what does this mean. Yeah, select star from my, sorry. So it says migration batch. It didn't run until the end. The migration file. So I'm just going to drop here this table. We don't need it, and then we are going to migrate it again. PHP artisan migrate. So as you can see now, it runs well now because there was no users table created there. So it runs the create users, password resets, and the contact us table. So let's see what does it do. So if I do refresh now, refresh all. So contact us is created, migration, password resets, and users. So it ran everything, see? Now, when you do a migrate, it runs all the migrations that are pending. So if you go again to migrations, you see that there is a code name here called batch. So this is the way the Laravel understands what is the versioning, the step of the migration where we are. So for instance, if I now create a new migration file, just for you to see the difference, I'm going to call it table equals to example, and I say create example file, create example table, sorry. There you go. So it's another table, another migration file that was created here. But as you can see on the migrations, it didn't run yet, because only when you run the migrate, you'll see that it puts a line here with the number 2. So it knows when you run a rollback, how much rollback should Laravel do. So if I run now PHP Artisan migrates, it runs this create example table. So now look at this. If I do a migrate rollback, it's not going to roll back everything. It's just going to roll back the last batch that you run. See? Create example table. So now if I do an F5 here, the other ones are still there. Now look at the left. Well, I forgot to do an F5, but in this case, he created that table and he deleted the table, because at the end it says drop on the down, in this case, to remove the drop if exists here, as you can see. In this case, the contact us, but it's the same on the example table. So now I'm going to remove everything here. And we are going to go back to our file. So again, we run a migration. The first time he creates the table that he needs, that is called these migrations. It's a control table, okay, by Laravel. And then it creates the user and password resets in case you have the authentication scaffolding on your Laravel project. You can delete these ones you don't have users or password resets. It's necessary in case you don't need them. But by default, it's good to have them. And then contact us. It was actually the table that we did, as you can see here. But this contact us, we need to put more things here, right? So we already loaded for the first time. I just run it, and as you can see now, if I do select all from contact us, it just shows that timestamps, that is this created and updated by. And as you can see now, I want to add more things here. I want to add, for instance, a string. There is actually all the fields that we have here, right? We have the fields, in this case, the name, email, and reason notes. So we want to put like string name. You can put a nullable here. All these parameters comes on the Laravel documentation. But for instance, if you want to pull it null by default, you can put null like this. If you want to get comments, you put comments, and then you write something here. See? So name cannot be nullable, right? So we just put like this. And then we have, what is the other one that we created here? Let me see. Email reason. So email and then reason, right? And then now we have notes, but notes, some cases they might not put notes, right? So we just put now nullable, so it can be nullable. Okay, email, we really need it. So let me just go back here to the Laravel docs and see if we do have an email. If I don't remember, nothing like going here. And on the database, you come here to the deeper database, sorry, migrations and creating tables. And here you see all the columns that you can create, see? All of them. So there is no email, there is double, enum, float. And Laravel understands if you're using MySQL or if you're using other ones. Here on the DB connection, see, you write MySQL, but if you're using SQL Server, SQLite, he also converts to those type of data types from those databases. You then can have column modifiers here, in case you want to put after a column or an auto increment or a different MIME type, or a collation, a char set, sorry, or a collation, a comment, as I just talked about. If you want to put it at the first column of the table, if it's nullable, okay, or if they have a default value, then you put it here. Okay, so as you can see, there is a lot of things that you can do, but there is also another thing that you need to see: modifying columns. You need to add this doctrine dbal. to your project in order to be able to modify columns. So that's exactly what we are going to do here. We are adding things here, but this is not what I want to do because I already created a migration file, right? Of course, okay, let's go then by this example. I can perfectly create this, but now if you run it again, it's going to explode because actually it's going to say nothing to migrate because you already run this file, right? So now I'm going to do a rollback. So it's going to remove all the batches. See, he removes the contact us table, and I'm going to run them again. And now if I go here to my code, I see that I'll have more columns in name, email, reason, notes, created that. If you want now to change this table without breaking your data, imagine that you already have like 1000 lines here. And now you detected, oh, I missed one column. Very well. So what you should do is you create a new file. So you go to migration, make migration, right? And then you say what is the table that you are going to affect. In this case, as we just saw, is a table contact us. Yeah, sure, of course. I need to say like update contact us table, whatever you want to call it, okay? And then here, he already places a schema table, see? But he doesn't put a drop on the table because he understands that you are doing a change. When you put the argument dash dash table, he lets you do whatever you want here with this schema up and down because you can add a column, right? But you also need to drop a column. You don't need to drop the table. So that's why it creates like this. So here in this case, you should come here and then, of course, just like you put here table string, you just mention if you want to add one more column, you just come here and say, I don't know, in the future you have like a personality type, whatever, see, nitty type. And in this case, you will need to have that doctrine DBAL in case you add a new one. If you update a column, you also need to put this change there. See, so again, it's very linear the way Laravel works. So these are migration files, and this allows you to actually create your tables or indexes or relationships. You can even create relationships. There is a lot of examples there, and in this case, for our lesson that already goes almost in 18 minutes, we can stop here because for now you understand how migrations work. Again, wrapping up very quickly in 10 seconds. You use the commands make migration to make a file, then you can pass the name of the table, or you can do a create where it creates this schema create and this schema drop. In a sense, it is a new table that you want to create. You put all the types of columns that you want here, and then you run it with the PHP artisan migrate. Or if you want to roll back, you can just do a rollback and it gets one batch lower as you saw. Now, there is another thing nice to see. Migrate status, and this migrate status shows to you what are the files that already run or not. So as you can see, I already run these 3 files, but of course if you create a new file, just as an example, this contact us table update, as we just saw, right? Sorry, if I now go to the status here, it says it didn't run yet. It detects that the file is there, but it says run no. So this is a good example for you to see what files. So one is the create, one is the update, as you can see the difference. So it's a good example for you to see what already run or what didn't run. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and the next one is going to be where we actually are going to write data into the database using the SQL, the query builder from Laravel. Thank you for watching.